have the town manager printing something.
Oh, that's
for me.
okay. I'd like to call the November 14th meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight and those way of internet. You know, we are streaming our meetings now, so those folks that are watching by way of internet, we welcome them also. Let's see what we got here on the calendar. Thursday, Friday, November the 23rd. Town offices will be closed for Thanksgiving holiday. And then our next meeting will be Tuesday, November the 28th, at same time here at Town Hall. Okay, and we don't have any public comment. I'd like to recognize someone tonight. We have one of our representatives, Mike Clampett. Mike, would you like to come up to the podium? And I know I get put on the spot every once in a while, and I'm gonna put you on the spot. Now,
That's okay. I appreciate that. You know, you never ask a politician or a Baptist minister if they want to speak. They'll always want to speak, right?
Yeah.
One thing I won't do is be passing the hat. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate the recognition. It's a real privilege to be here tonight. It's been a real honor in the past to have represented Haywood County and the State House. The thing about it is we may have districts, but feel free to contact my office if I can do anything to help y'all. And I currently work with Mark Well, the other representative that represents you all. Tonight's a real important occasion with our task force. I won't give anything away with that. I think Miss Ellen's here somewhere, but I participate with that too, very active. And I appreciate all these gentlemen and ladies hard work with that, and it's great that they're recognized for doing what they do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for dropping in us. You're welcome anytime. And you can also send some funding our way anytime. If there's any extra funding out there, you know, Western North Carolina, sure could use a share of it.
There's a checkbook, I got it.
Okay, yeah, thank you, sir.
Here's a pen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
By the way, we don't have any public comment tonight, but are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we add the application for special events permit for the Hazelwood Christmas Parade to the consent.
To the consent agenda, okay. All right. Need a second? Second for Julia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay, we actually need to still approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, Mayor.
All right. Second for Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Moving along. Here a second. Okay. All right, we got a presentation. We got a couple of presentations here tonight, and the first will be Chief Adams and Ellen Pitt from MAD. She's a MAD representative, and if you would come up.
I need to talk right into that.
I didn't move my
Actually,
notes.
it's
How'd you get here that fast?
directional, so
You could not.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, Ella. I'm sorry.
you're all right. The most important thing that any of us, especially elected officials, can do to fight crime is to support the training and the professional growth of our police officers. In January 2023, the Western North Carolina Regional DWI Task Force decided to acknowledge officers who had completed the 3 higher training levels that qualify them for the complicated, specialized DWI enforcement process. It qualifies them to identify, investigate, independently test, and arrest impaired drivers. We're here tonight to acknowledge 25 Waynesville Police Department officers for their commitment to make us all safer as we travel. And we're happy to do this right before the busy holidays. The percentage of officers in the Waynesville Police Department that are going to be recognized in this way is extraordinary. And that is the legacy of Chief Bill Hollingshead, which has been carried on by your current police chief, David Adams. The 72 hours of additional training is intense and has to be updated all the time. And not a lot of agencies have this number of officers that highly qualified. So that's part of your commitment to them too, is that you do support them in their training efforts. So we thank you. I'm going to call out their names. Chief Adams and Representative Clampett. And if you want to, Chief Hollingshead, come up here. They're going to give them their honor pins, and we'll send one around up there for you to look at, because the logo on these pins, which is very beautiful and sends a strong message, was created by a former Waynesville Police Department officer. Lieutenant Billy Benhart, Lieutenant Josh Schick, Sergeant D. Parton, Sergeant Ryan Craig, Sergeant Matthew Cogburn, Sergeant Eric Dickey, Sergeant Jason Reynolds, Master Officer Tim Carver, Master Officer Brian Reeves, Master Officer Tyler Howell, Senior Officer Michael Whitney, Senior Officer Dave Clancy, Senior Officer Derek Embler, Officer Devin Holtzclaw, Officer Cam Gasperson, Officer Ian Miller, Officer Richard Johnson, Officer Chance Fritz, Officer Chelsea Parton, Officer Jason Singleton, Officer Brittany Brown. We salute each one of you for your commitment to highway safety, and thank you to the town board, because this training is possible because you support them.
Thank you all. As always, I love my police officers. They do such a great job here in Waynesville. We're very fortunate to have such a great police department here. Okay, we'll move on. We've got another presentation. See if we can get my stuff here, turn it over. Okay, Chief Adams has got another promotion here tonight. He would like to present.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Would take it away.
Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Ellen Pitt. She does a great job, represents Western North Carolina, goes to Raleigh on a regular basis, and our officers are doing a great job. Our DWI arrests are way up the last 2 years, and that saves lives and reduces injuries when we arrest people for DWI. So Ellen deserves a round of applause too.
Yeah.
Mr. Clampett is a big supporter of MAD as well and law enforcement and DWI. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Jason Reynolds. Your family. Recognizing Jason Reynolds, he's been promoted to sergeant of our tactical unit, effective today. I'll read this to you. Put your right hand on the Bible and raise your left. You can read after me. I, Ronald Jason Reynolds, do solemnly swear that I will be alert and vigilant to enforce the criminal laws of this state.
I, Ronald Jason Reynolds, do solemnly swear that I will be alert and vigilant to the criminal laws of this state.
That I will not be influenced in any manner on account of personal bias or prejudice.
I will not be influenced on any matter on account of personal bias or prejudice.
That I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States.
That I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States.
And Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith.
And the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith.
And I will faithfully and impartially discharge and execute the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer.
And I will faithfully and impartially discharge and execute the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer.
According to the best of my skills, ability, and judgment. So help me God.
According to the best of my skill, abilities, and judgment. So help me.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Next, we have Joshua Schick. Josh has been promoted to lieutenant. He's replacing Chris Chandler, who's retiring next month. So welcome aboard our command staff. Place your, here we go. I'll read this to you. Read it back. I, Joshua James Schick, do solemnly swear that I will be alert and vigilant and enforce the criminal laws of this state.
I, Joshua James Chick, solemnly swear that I will be alert, vigilant, and enforce the laws of the state.
That I will not be influenced in any matter on account of personal bias or prejudice.
That I will not be influenced in any matter on account of personal bias or prejudice.
That I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina.
That I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States, the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
Not inconsistent therewith.
not inconsistent therewith.
And I will faithfully and impartially discharge and execute the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer.
And I will faithfully and impartially discharge and execute the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer
According to the best of my ability, skill, abilities, and judgment, so help me God.
according to the best of my skills, ability, and judgment, so help me God.
Mr. Mayor, can I add something else real quick?
Sure.
Our SWAT team competed again this year at the International SWAT Roundup in Orlando, Florida. They represented Waynesville very well.
Don't forget it.
And Lieutenant Schick finished sixth in super SWAT competition. That's it's like 40-something people.
That's nationwide.
Yes, nationwide. He finished sixth place. So that's been very impressive.
Thank you, Chief. It's always an honor to our police officers. I'll move on here. Okay. Okay. Next agenda item is the employee appreciation of Discovery Tax Building volunteer efforts. Jesse Fowler. You would.
The slow exodus from the building, bureaucrats. We're all very proud of all of our employees. Thank you, council, mayor. I'm here to, I guess, show our appreciation for the employees that really pulled us out of the dump. That began on October 10th. I flew under the radar, which was kind of our objective because we were handed a problem that we did not create. And in the face of that problem, we needed to have someone here to help. So at this point, and I'm going to try not to miss anybody's name, but Karen Agostini, if you could please come up. I'm putting you on the spot. Thank you very much. Oh, no, we don't get to come. Esther Coulter, please come up. Chief Webb, please come up. Roy McDonald, please come up. You can either stand here awkwardly or you can sit, but I would just like everybody to know and put a face on some of the names we're talking about. We don't have many more folks here because I was trying to keep it aloof and surprising for them because I was making them something. I made some cheesecakes and I didn't want to blow the lid off that before I gave it to them. So this is part of the group of people that received a call for volunteers on, I believe, October 14th. And on October 10th, we were handed 869 discovery tax bills from the county tax assessor's office. Each one of these tax bills has to be inputted manually into our general ledger. This is a 48-step process. It's not a very complicated process once you learn how to do it. And Sharon is our tax collector, and Sharon sat with me when I found this out for 2 days and taught me and had me memorize this entire 48-step process because on top of the fact that we had to enter all of these records manually, the tax collector was in mandatory training for the next week. And she had a very intense test that she had to take at the end of this training as to she was not going to be able to be there with us in any other form than her own spirit. And so she sat with me and had me trained on how to do this while we were putting out volunteer requests to the 253 part-time and full-time employees throughout our organization for people that would check a couple boxes. One, they're not going to complain. I need team players that are going to come and help us fix a problem that we did not cause, but we're going to fix, and we're going to do it post haste. I need people that aren't going to get daunted by computers and people that aren't going to be kind of overwhelmed by new processes, especially technical processes that involve those computers. I told everybody to be there at 1 o'clock. I showed up at 1 o'clock. I was told that I had about 4 or 5 volunteers, and I showed up to a conference room full of people. The day of, I had an electronic office, a 100-megabit loaner switch. I actually went to Best Buy and bought a $30 switch. I'm looking at it in the conference, I realized it's probably going to explode. They reworked the back end, reroute all the bandwidth in that building through those ports. We never even saw any performance delays on our computing systems. And we sat down with, I think, 9 or 10 volunteers and started getting to work on learning how to do this 48-step process. I was having them all verbally confirm that they were doing every step in order. Chorus of yeses were hitting me. Are you done with step 1? Yes. 2, yes. 3. We got to step 12, and everybody's saying no. And I nervously walked around the room 3 or 4 or 5 laps to make sure that my reality was true and that we had been hit with an error code because, as we found out later, Munis does not allow, and it is not best practices, to have more than one person updating the general ledger with these discovery tax bills, which you cannot input as a batch at all. I've got that in an email. It's not best practices. Don't do it. Stay away. We can't have that problem right now, right? It takes anywhere between 5 and 12 minutes to input a single record. We have so many records that if Sharon were to do it by herself and the servers did not crash, which they always crash in Massachusetts, it's going to take her 27 days. That's 8 hours a day with no lunch and no breaks and no bathrooms. Sharon is going to have to sit there 27 days. And so we just started putting load on the system. When we found out the magic number inside the general ledger, tax module on Munis is 4 or 5, depending on the weather. And so we rested right there. And 4 or 5, 4, Joey, Roy, Valerie, and Sabrina Caldwell sat in that room and got a 27-day job done in 3, with Sean Swiderski at finance operating periodically when he wasn't still putting out utility bills, and Sharon furiously printing everything off as they were inputted, and receiving phone calls as she could and was available. And everything got done. Nobody even knew that we had solved a problem that wasn't ours to begin with, and it happened in 3 days. And it happened so quickly that this, $10,000 switch is still sitting in my office. And to let you know my ignorance on the topic, I didn't even know they didn't come with power button. I'm sitting there trying to turn the thing off. And I called them and asked, can I just unplug it? He said, yeah, we don't put power buttons on it. People like you touch them. I said, okay.
It's true.
So these folks here, everybody that was in the room, we asked them to go above and beyond, grossly outside their job descriptions. And what we're going to do for everybody in that room specifically is offer them 8 hours of career track credit for continuing education. I told them all, if this was a private organization, I'd hand you a bonus. Folks that showed up but were unable to operate simply because Munis said no, they all get 2 hours of continuing education onto their career track. I made sure that it was clear that we're all very proud of them. We are. It was a really cool thing. And it all happened very quietly. And just like most problems that we would like to solve quietly never get solved, it just fixed itself because of these people. And I just wanted everybody to appreciate them, everybody to see their faces. And if we could, just please give them a round of applause. They got there at 7 o'clock in the morning and left at 5 o'clock in the afternoon every day for 3 days. And I got a phone call when I was in finance. Ironically, it's done. It's done. But Roy called me. Hey, just want to let you know, I missed the phone call. I don't think he left a voicemail. I typically don't listen to voicemails. It's a habit. And I called him back and he said, it's done. Just very calmly. It's all done.
Right.
All right. So
Super job.
Thank you all
Yes.
very much. I've always said we have the best employees here in the town of Waynesville that you could find. Thank you all. Move on here. All right. Next is a big year, a presentation on our June 30th, 2023 audit report and financial statements. Jonas Watts is with Martin Starnes and Associates. Everybody's got their little blue book.
Riddles.
Thank you. I want to go ahead and start by saying welcome and thank you for letting me come here and give the audit presentation. This is my second year on the Town of Waynesville's audit. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with Misty and Dean and their team over at Finance. They are very efficient. They're quick when we request information or when we reach out regarding maybe a question. And I really can't say how much as an auditor that helps make my job easier, because when you have clients that want to work with you and help make the process easier, make it overall just a better process. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the audit highlights. So we did not have, or we had a unmodified opinion, which is good. So the staff was very cooperative while we was going through the whole process. And there were no audit findings or question costs, which are always, I think everybody can agree, that's always a good thing. So again, just trying to harp a little bit on the praise for them. We juggle a couple different clients each year when we're doing these, so it helps a lot to have cooperative staff that work with us and help the process go smoothly. We'll start with the general fund summary. So as you can see on the charts up here, overall, the revenues increased about 1.4 million, roughly 9%. Overall expenditures decreased about 808,000, so about roughly 5%. And then expenditures exceeded the revenues roughly about $269,000. These figures are not including transfers and other financing sources of about roughly 1.2 million. Total net change in fund balance for the general fund for 2023 was $972,000. We also had, due to the implementation of GASB 96, we had to do the implementation of subscription-based assets this year. The town had $58,000 worth of subscriptions that were issued. They sold assets for roughly $92,000. We had they had transfers in of $1.27 million and then transfers out of the general fund of $184,000. You can see by this pie chart here, the top three revenues were property taxes. We have sales and services and other taxes and licenses. The other piece is comprised of a couple different things. So the other revenues include the permits and fees, investment earnings, and miscellaneous revenue. And the top three revenues comprise roughly about 15.2 million of the overall revenues of the general. So we're going to start when we're looking at the top three revenues. The first one being ad valorem taxes here. We have fiscal year 23 increased about $392,000. Since the tax rate did not change from fiscal year 22 to fiscal year 23, that just shows that you had a higher collection percentage from the prior year. It was roughly about a 6% change in higher collections for fiscal year 23, so that's always good. So we also, for the 2022 statewide average for municipalities, their average with municipalities with electric was roughly 98.994% collection. Your collection for fiscal year 23 was roughly 99.25%, so y'all were above average. So that's always another good piece to have. So other taxes and license. This includes like local option sales tax and other taxes in general. This is for fiscal year 23 increased roughly about $366,000. The majority of that was local option sales tax. For everybody knows with the current state of the economy, that's just going to go up as inflation continues as well. You also have, you also had sanitation fees where, 97% of total is sales tax, but this also for these other tax and license can include cable franchise tax, rental vehicle tax, and privilege license as well. For sales and services, this increased roughly about $223,000, roughly 19%. It consisted of recreation fees, sanitation fees, lease contracts, other sales and services. And this is where sanitation fees were higher for fiscal year 23 compared to 22. So that also led to an increase in the revenue for that. Go to your top expenditures for the general fund. As you can see here, it's broken, about half of it is public safety. I think rightly so from the sounds of what I heard from your officers. It sounds like y'all have some very good officers in this town. So I think rightly so, public safety being about half, that shows that you're putting what you need to into that. So for public safety, with these three being public safety, transportation, and cultural and recreation, public safety increased by $938,000, 12% roughly, due to salaries and wages increasing, as well as there was a fire truck that was purchased for fiscal year 23, and that was they're pretty substantial purchases. So that was the main increases that caused public safety expenditures to go up. Transportation increased roughly about $15,000, roughly 1%. So that is due to just increases in salaries and wages pretty much. That usually with not a huge change like that, that's, everybody hopefully gets some type of raise year to year. So that usually will fall into that category. And then cultural and recreation decreased by $35,000. This was actually due to fiscal year 22. There was a capital outlay purchase for a roof for the rec center. This year, when you go year to year, if you don't have the same capital outlay purchases, that can cause your expenditures to go down in general. So that was the main reason. Other than that, most of the other items as far as expenditures were roughly comparable to the prior year. Okay. So here you can see the total fund balance for general fund over the last 3 years. We increased about $972,000. The town for that. See, for general fund, the increase was $973K, and this is the fund balance position for the general fund. So for these available fund balance, as you see here, that's defined by the LGC. It's a calculation utilized as a basis for comparing you to other units and calculating your fund balance percentages. Pretty much kind of like a benchmark, essentially, to compare yourself, see where you're standing with other municipalities. So as you can see here, total fund balance is roughly 13.4 million. We have to, for when we're doing available fund balance, we deduct out non-spendables and the stabilization by state statute restrictions. And then you can also see there the increase in available fund balance from fiscal year 22 of 9.7 to 10.4 million. Okay. So here is the fund balance for general fund. This graph actually shows as well fund balance available as a percentage of net expenditures, and this is excluding PAL bill. So for this one, the LGC minimum fund balance available excluding PAL bill, roughly, this is the average, is roughly 46% average for units with general fund expenditures between 1 million and 10 million, while minimum is roughly 25%. And as you can see here for fiscal year 23, it looks like you were at 60%. So above average. That's another good benchmark to look at to say that the town is doing well at the time. So slide. The water fund here, as you can see, the water fund had all positive cash flows, total net positions, unrestricted net positions, and change in net position. You can see here that the actual change in net position roughly was about $585,000, and the quick ratio is roughly 1.71. And this is the quick ratios of what they've been using as performance indicators the last few years to kind of use also as a benchmark to know how your enterprise funds are working and if they're being sufficient. Then we also had the sewer fund. Cash flows from operations were roughly 5.5 million. The total net position was roughly 10.5 million, and the change in net position was 1.1 million. Also, this one had a quick ratio of about 1.71 as well. And the electric fund also had pretty much everything except for the change in net position itself. That dropped just a little bit, about 489,000. So the quick ratio for that one was a little higher at 7.12. And also with the electric fund, transfers out of 1.275 contributed to the negative change in net position. So that was one of the big pieces, because that's really the only reason that that's shown as a negative, because everything else was essentially positive. So these are the general performance indicators. As I said earlier, these are what the LGC is kind of using to know how municipalities and counties and towns and everything are doing as far as their overall finance. So some positive performance indicators for this year: general fund balance, available percentage, the enterprise fund quick ratios were all above the benchmarks for that, so that's good. The audit was submitted timely, referring back to Ms. and her crew helping us get that done, and it helps for a lot less stressful audit season when we can get those out the door quicker. And so that was very big. And then just the stable property tax valuation and collection, having higher collections on that always going to result in improved revenue. So that's good as well. And then we have one performance indicator. This is one that is required with a response. Misty, I believe, is taking care of that. She is, from what I understand, it's pretty much almost done already, so that's good. But pretty much what it's saying is the capital asset condition ratio is 5, which means that it's an indication of the age of the system and need for near future capital improvements or repairs to replace fully depreciated assets. But essentially that means that you have used your assets long enough that, it may be time to get some new ones, but you've got your life out of it. Major sewer project in progress will improve this ratio once it's placed into service. It's still currently going through the project itself. And then Misty knows as well, but the response to the LGC is due within the 60 days of the presentation. Must be signed by the authority of the board, town manager, and the finance officer, and will be uploaded to the LGC website. And other than that, I have my manager's contact information here. I have left some of my personal business cards with Misty as well. So if anyone has any questions that I can't answer now, I'll be more than happy to do with my manager and partner at the firm and talk to them and make sure I can get whatever questions I need.
Okay, Chuck, do you have any questions? Julie?
So when we look at our fellow municipalities within our age group, per se, so we are in well standing with our general fund balance.
Yeah, so, for the general fund balance, so what they do with those calculations, when they give, like the LGC minimum fund balance available, when they give those percentages, that's based across the state. So with that one, because you fall in that 1 to 1, so 1 to 2 expenditure range, you are above average. So that's a good indication that y'all are doing things correctly within the town.
We don't want the dreaded letter.
Yeah.
We've heard about the dreaded letter for years.
We were
Yeah.
about 60%, and the state average is 45.
Yeah.
That's correct.
46.
Yeah, so that's very, very good. I, can't say too much, but I will say other clients I have, well, like range within, above or below, so to be above is definitely a good thing.
Right, thank you. That's all
John,
I've
do you
got.
have anything?
No, I think that you indicated that us bringing on the sewer plant in March of 2025 will alleviate that 0.5 ratio.
Yeah, it will, mainly because right now it's not taken into effect, that's a brand new asset that will be once it's placed into service. Because that's right now, that project being, it's not gonna show up in that ratio, once it's placed into service.
And that's fully into service, because I think some parts of it will be into service prior to.
And that's the put parts into service that may somewhat improve it, but I'm sure most of the time with big projects like that, they'll be gradually, and then they'll put the rest in service. However, once most of that is on the surface, it should help alleviate that asset.
I would like to commend Misty because we've already all signed the letter. It will be out the door by the end of the meeting.
When I talked to her earlier, she notified me already, she was already on.
She's already on.
She's always 3 steps ahead.
Yeah,
So.
it's been very nice working with this guy. Anytime I ask her for something like that, I don't have to stick and wait. Sometimes that happens, and I understand everybody, she does a very good job, keeping track of everything, plus it sounds like some of the other stuff, like those discoveries, stuff like that, that pops up, it's good to have a good finance. Well, couple there time.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to reading this.
Awesome. Want me to work for it?
Actually, I do.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Mr. Mayor?
I like to hear that.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good that I put the time in.
Yes.
I'd also like to commend our Chair and Agostini, our tax collector.
Absolutely.
Rate up to 99%.
Thank you, Sharon. That's another example of our fine employees. That's just what that is, another example. Yep, thank
Is there
you.
any other questions?
That's it, Thomas. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for,
I appreciate y'all.
okay. Stay safe. Yes, sir.
Misty, would you like to explain what a discovery is? And we've talked a lot about it tonight, but it's not a word that we throw around a lot. What is a discovered tax?
So all personal property, every year, businesses and individuals have to be their personal property, so it could be in a car, a boat, razor, like machinery within a plant, things like that. All of the discovery deals were some of the personal property items that this is late to the county. So that would be really fair to the county. Didn't have all the information.
So would citizens have gotten a second bill or would this be their first bill? So over 10% of the folks hadn't gotten the tax bill yet until these discoveries were put in the machine.
It was all personal property.
And people were trying to pay them. That was a big problem. They were already late, people were coming up to pay them. We can't process payment until they're input in the letter.
All right. We shall move along. We have a couple of public hearings. I will entertain a motion that we close for public hearing to consider a request for an annexation for one unaddressed parcel off Russ Avenue. Need a motion.
I'll make a motion to open public hearing to consider a request for annexation for one unaddressed parcel off Russ Avenue, PIN number 8616-37-5048, 0.81 acres.
Second.
Got a second, Chuck, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, Ms. Olga.
Olga Grumman, Land Use Administrator. The town received the attached petition for annexation for a non-contiguous satellite area from Nicholas Osborne, the owner of the property, and he is here today with his spouse speaking. The annexation request is for one unaddressed parcel of Ross Avenue. I will read him for the record. 8616375048. The approximate acreage is 0.81 of an acre. The property is the proposed site for a future dentist office, and they do need sewer services. Currently, the property is in town's ETJ. It is non-contiguous. It would be non-contiguous annexation, but you can see it's surrounded by other non-contiguous properties within corporate limits already. The property has a zoning designation and is dealt with residential and medium density mixed use overlay. See, it's in the northern part of the town. The staff submits that the proposed non-contiguous annexation meets the statutory standards of the North Carolina General Statute, Chapter 168, Article 4A, Part 4, annexation of non-contiguous areas, specifically Section 168, 58.1. And there are 4 standards. Now I'll read them verbatim for the record. Number 1, the nearest point of the proposed satellite corporate limits must be not more than 3 miles from the primary corporate limits of the annexed city. The property is approximately quarter mile from corporate limits per Haywood County GIS. Number 2, no point of the proposed satellite corporate limits may be closer to the primary corporate limits of the annexed city than to the primary corporate limits of the the closest town is within the parcel. The area must be so situated that the city will be able to provide the same services with the corporate limits that it provides within its primary corporate limits. We attached another public sign that but the last, the area proposed for annexation or in portion thereof is subdivision. All of the subdivisions must be included. The parcel is not a subdivision. And the owners understand that future action to annex this property will allow the property to receive services subject to town property taxes. And we have attached maps meeting for the annexation if the board considers that. And with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
So the piece of property is surrounded by also annexed.
Non-contiguous satellite annexed area. Surrounded, it would be contiguous if it was gap.
If it was that
filled,
one,
yeah.
if there was 1, 2, 3 more lots.
I think this is
It's directly beside Maple Tree Veterinary Center.
Yeah.
They're pretty, the leaves there, yeah. So, that right up front.
Thank you for the full picture.
I know, I just noticed that. And we did not have any increase.
Okay, anyone else have any questions for Olga? Okay. I will open up anyone in the public would like to speak on this matter. Okay. And
Mayor, I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
okay, second. Got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay, we have one motion to make this happen here, so.
I'll make a motion to adopt of the attached ordinance to approve the annexation of described property PIN number 8616375048.
Second.
Got a second, by Julie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay, we still have one more public hearing here, so I'll need a motion here to again, close for another continuation of a public hearing to consider a tax amendment to define regular crematory currency. That's a nice word.
Cryptocurrency.
Ronnie, did I get it right?
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah. And data centers as land uses in the land development standards.
I'll make a motion to open public hearing.
Okay,
Second.
second, Julie, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So,
Olga Grumman, Land Use Administrator. This is the continuation of a public hearing. Consider text amendment to define and regulate cryptocurrency operations and data centers. The purpose of this text amendment is to mitigate the negative impact of cryptocurrency farms, and we see that many neighboring jurisdictions are doing very similar text amendments. Cryptocurrency mining operations, they are big, they are noisy, they don't pay any jobs. A lot of times they're based offshore, and they consume a lot of energy and resources. Too much data for environment. Very property lines. Just not to I what to do with that. Planning board discussed the concerns. Planning board researched further and data centers into the definition of operations. This amendment was presented to the board, to town council, and it was directed to separate definitions. So we revised the definition, the development Jesse, they would updated the definition, are separate on the same side. The current mining facility will get that facility. Now, cryptocurrency mining facility. A facility that exists for the purpose of operating computer cryptocurrency or storing of cryptocurrency. The individual use of personal computers for the mining of cryptocurrencies is not intended in this definition. This definition does not limit the use of computers for commercial purposes. We simplified it we want to make sure that somebody's personal computer at home or something like that, we don't have somebody or computer like that. And that's allowed, that doesn't fall into this definition. And we propose to prohibit this use across all zoning districts at this point. Data center facility. Data center facility are facilities that exist for the sole purpose of storing, processing, or sharing data or applications. Such facilities may include computers, servers, routers, storage systems, firewall, and other storage. These establishments may provide complete processing of data, cloud services, automated data services, data storage, file sharing, virtual communication services, artificial intelligence, make data processing lines on an hourly or national basis. The definition does not include data centers that function. The definition is more complex for the research for the companies that provide these services and provide this definition. For this use, because it's not as environmentally detrimental, side, the staff proposes to allow it only in commercial industrial districts, and this is because commercial industrial like companies providing tech business there. This contributes to the connection of the subsidy if the document would be consistent with
goals 1, 2, and 5 on plan. Goal number 1, improve the most smart roads and roads and zoning. Goal 2 is protect and improve resources. And goal 5 is greater return for
Nancy, you have a question?
I do not. I want to commend Elizabeth Teagan and her group for coming back and working with me on these definitions. Thank you.
And Jesse.
And Jesse, thank you very much. That alleviated all my concerns.
John?
You know, as I was reading over this packet in the the staff report, a statement stood out to me. Commercial crypto mining consumes a lot of energy, electricity, and water, and produces constant noise. These facilities require a great deal of continuous power, which also can impact local utilities. This use generates very few local jobs or local commerce and would have minimal economic development value. And so my question is, why are we even permitting this? Why don't we prohibit them?
That's exactly what we're doing.
Okay,
Yeah,
We're
we
prohibiting.
don't allow Anywhere.
okay,
We're defining it so
I
we
got
can
you. Okay.
regulate that.
Okay.
In order to regulate and prohibit it, we can define, we need to
Okay.
define it.
perfect.
What I liked was that they took they separated data center facilities, which do generate jobs, and separated it from cryptocurrency.
Cool. So if we approve this, cryptocurrency mining facilities are not going to be allowed in the town of.
Correct.
Sign me up.
We need to define them so the developer doesn't come under the definition of a warehouse, or something else, because we didn't have a definition. And the hash mark. This is
Okay.
My concern with, if we had combined them, is that if we had a place that does, say, software development or software support and also had a data center, that would have been prohibited. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. Is anyone in the public would like to speak on this text amendment about the cryptocurrency? Did I get it right that time, Julie?
You got it.
Anyone like to speak on that behalf? Okay. I'll ask for a motion that we close the public hearing.
So moved.
Got a motion by Chuck,
Second.
second with Julia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign. You have two recommended motions here to consider.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to find that the ordinance is consistent with the 2035 comprehensive plan and that it's reasonable in the public interest, and that it continues to promote smart growth principles in land use planning and zoning by encouraging infill, mixed use, and context-sensitive development, promotes conservation design to preserve important natural resources. It protects and enhances Waynesville's natural resources, protects rural lands, iconic views, and mountain vistas, and continues to engage in and promote best management practices related to energy use, efficiency, and waste management.
Okay, there's a second from
Second.
John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign.
I'd also like to make a motion to adopt the ordinance as presented, and that it creates opportunities for sustainable economy, encourage creatively designed mixed-use walkable centers and commercial districts that appeal to residents and visitors.
Okay, got a motion with Anthony,
Second.
second with John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign. Okay, thank you so much. Ms. Over, you worked very hard on this. We appreciate that. That's, our public hearings are out of the way. Does anyone need a break, or you want to keep rolling?
Let's roll.
Let's roll. Keep rolling? Okay, all right. I want to make sure, take care of my crew.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, a new business here, Paige, we have, approve a changing in the town's payroll system by creating a 1 week lag between the end of the payroll period and insurance of the employees' checks. Approve the budget amendment to cause cover over one-time supplement. And, our Paige McCreary, our Director of Human Services, would you please catch us up on this?
The purpose of my presentation this evening is recommend the current payroll process does not allow administration the time needed to review payroll practices. The town of Waynesville processes payroll for 200 in one work week. Our current payroll process is fully screened. Paychecks are issued one day after the end. Time cards are due on Tuesday, pay period is on Wednesday, and paychecks are issued on Thursday, meaning that there's no lag in that pay cycle. What this means for us administratively is that there is no change in the payroll practice before those checks. This frequently creates friction with employees because they receive incorrect compensation. Overtime hours, annually, a standard practice in payroll is a lag of 1 week between the end of a pay cycle and the issue. And that is the goal tonight, is to bring that to you all and see if that's something that you can work with. Because I believe it will create better fiscal practices. We will see a return on investment in the weeks and months to come. Benefits of payroll lag: more efficient payroll processes, decreased payroll errors, more accurate and timely reporting of employee benefits, a reduction in the amount of time spent writing time cards, and it provides important financial for all interested. The Human Resources Department has partnered with the Finance Department, with Misty, to outline a plan that we would hope to enact in February. This plan would impact all full-time and part-time unemployed employees, with the exception of Rex, because they are currently already on. We would love to get cut. This payroll lag would not have a positive or negative impact on our budget, which is a good thing. And it doesn't generate savings for the town of Waynesville in our general fund. However, it is good financial practice. So our proposed steps are in February to run a short pay period beginning February 15th, ending on February 21st, that would encumber all staff, and that would include the Parks and Recreation staff members. The staff would be paid for that short pay cycle on February the 29th. And this would be for 1 week of wages rather than 2 during this short pay cycle. In step 3, everyone would be on the same pay cycle, beginning February 22nd and March 6th and thereafter. And then the pay cycle beginning March 6th would be paid on March. I know that's a lot of numbers and a lot of dates, and I apologize for that, but it is a stepped out plan. Some of our challenges that we have discussed with implementation would be a temporary financial hardship on some of our staff. The February 29th paycheck would only be for 1 week of work and not 2. And all of our folks are used to receiving 2 weeks of pay. This would result in half the amount that staff are accustomed to receiving. So what can we do to help them? We could issue a $500 stipend to our full-time staff members and a $250 stipend to part-time staff during the short pay cycle to help supplement their income and lessen the burden on them. We really feel that this is a good plan going forward to get everybody on board with the same pay cycles and to give administration the time needed to ensure that those fiscal controls are in place. Thank you all for your time.
Okay, questions for Paige, Chuck? You have any? Julie?
No, I'll just say I did this within our organization and we did the stipend thing to carry people through that transition. So excellent recommendations.
John, you have a question?
I think it sounds like a great idea. I am concerned about the hardship that it might impose on our staff. And so my question is, has anybody talked to staff at large? Okay.
Yeah, we, one of the reasons that we want to wait until February is so that we can help folks plan for this. We can communicate with them face to face. My plan is to have outposting sessions at all the different departments and help them manage their funding going forward so that they're prepared. We're also hoping to do this in February because that is typically when folks are starting to receive their income tax payments. So we're hoping to cushion the financial blow, and we definitely do not want to do this during the holidays.
Another thing we want to do is we're going to fully fund the first pay period in February, because that's typically when people make their house payments, their rent, and their car payments. That if they have any cushion, it'll be in that last pay period, and that we thought was to help them with their cash management. That's the best place to plan for this.
Okay, and clear up the word stipend for me.
Sure.
Is that a loan or
a bonus?
Okay, a bonus. Okay. All right. Let's do it.
No, I really want to commend you and Misty on working on this together. And you alleviated all of my concerns prior to it. So thank you. So I think it's a great way to get it all on cycle and allow you more time to review.
I appreciate that.
I think it will actually, in the long term, increase employee morale because there will be less issues on them.
That is the hope.
Yeah. And we hope to save some money too.
I agree.
Yeah. And it is a bonus, although I expect most employees won't see it because they're for a short period of time they'll be getting less money perhaps.
Absolutely.
But I like it because it also treats all the employees the same, both higher paid and the lower paid employees. They all get the same bonus. So again, I just hope you'll emphasize that this is costing the town $150,000.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
How did you come up with the number of 500?
Misty and I went back and forth quite a bit about this number. Actually,
that's what I gathered.
It was ultimately the most equitable number that we could come to, that we felt like was reasonable to bring to you all, and also that would create the most value for staff. We don't want to give them an amount that isn't going to help them and carry them through that lag.
Okay. There's actually a couple motions that we need to make here to make this happen. So I'll need a motion from one of you guys here to add a billing and collections.
I'll make a motion to approve the change in payroll policy and appropriate the recommended funds for the payroll supplement.
Second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. All right, we got another one there.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to also approve the budget amendment as presented.
Okay.
Second.
Just second, Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay. Okay, dear. Thank you so much. We'll move here to Misty.
Thank y'all so much for approving that. That's always been a little worrisome.
We want to make sure
Process payroll on Wednesday and send the direct deposit to the bank it's Thursday morning.
I can only imagine the headaches you've had.
Yeah.
So thank y'all so much for approving that.
we want to make sure you're happy with that also.
Speaking of.
Okay, Misty's going to speak on creating a billing and collection supervisor in the finance department. So Misty, will you catch us up on that?
I'm waiting on this to do my presentation.
No pressure, Jesse.
Is this supposed to be a commercial break?
You are somebody.
Is this a commercial break?
I'll go ahead and start talking
Yeah,
a little
please,
bit.
yeah.
But I like the org chart, to go with it, but, okay. So what I'm proposing is to add an additional position in the department. There we go. Currently, the assistant finance director oversees all of our billing, and customer service. And I kind of manage more the new grants manager position of purchasing. So the assistant finance director is really probably 80% of his time is on customer service issues, and assisting with billing issues, computer issues, all of that stuff. So what I would like to do is actually create a billing and collection supervisor and have the billing and collection supervisor be over all of the customer service representatives, utility billing, and the tax collector, and take some of that burden off of the assistant finance director so that he can actually assist me more with the actual accounting duties, help at budget, help with audit more. There's no one else in the department other than myself and the assistant who can do the technical accounting functions that are required. So, I feel like that this would be best case scenario is to have this billing and collection supervisor who would oversee all of the people that he's currently overseeing. It's amazing the amount of time that it takes when somebody comes in upset about their bill. He can sit down with somebody for 2 hours. So that's 2 hours that he's just focused on that customer. And that's important. And it's important for us to have good customer service. But I also need his assistance with the accounting functions. So the billing and collection supervisor, what I would want them to do is more with collections. We've gotten all of the payment plans caught up, so I want to focus more on collecting the final bills that are sent out when people move. There's a lot of those that people just don't pay. Some of it is we don't have correct addresses when they move. So we've signed up for a service to help us get correct addresses, or telephone numbers, email addresses. So I want to focus on collecting more of that. I want to really pursue more of the enforced collections on our taxes. We still have some tax customers who owe for 10 years worth of property taxes. Sharon has done an excellent job. Our collections are the highest they've ever been, but we still have those customers who are problem customers. So I want this person to help walk through that process of garnishment and bank attachments, all that kind of stuff. I want the person to work on getting us a more up-to-date online platform. Work on us being able to email utility bills and tax bills. Those things just take time, attention, and it's just stuff that I don't have time to focus on with all of the other duties. So I'm hoping that we can get someone that is really detail oriented and, can really focus on that and bring us up to date with, our technology. I've worked hard. My team has worked hard. I feel like we're in a good place now. And it's time to take a step and, actually get someone in place who can help us make that leap. Like I said, I've tried to do some things, but it is with Munis. I can tell you with Munis, it's follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. And it's very frustrating. It is a good product, but the follow up is maddening. So, I can't do it. I can't continually follow up week after week after week. We looked at an online system, but of, trying to follow up with them and with Munis and make sure they'll talk to each other and jive with each other. It just, all of that just takes time. So, that's really what I would want the billing and collection supervisor to do. And then bring Dean into the back office. Budget is a month-long process. Closing out end of the year is a month-long process. Audit season, it is all day, every day for months. So I need Dean's assistance taking care of all of that. I'm scared something is going to slip through the cracks if I don't have assistance. Dean is very, very smart. He is very knowledgeable in governmental accounting. He has the ability to do all of these functions that I need him to do to help me out. What I'm 25% for general water fund, sewer fund, and electric fund, because the position would help all of the funds. And I feel like that when someone comes in and they can really dive into some of these past due bills and do more of a collection effort, that we won't have to increase any fees or increase any rates. We would be able to collect enough additional revenue to cover the cost of the position.
Do you have anybody in mind, or are you going to be posting, or is there,
We would post it and open it up.
is there anybody on staff currently that could step into this role?
Potentially.
Cool. I'm all for it. Yeah.
Good.
No, good idea.
Absolutely, 100%. Gives you the support you need.
Good, John.
I think you have elevated finance and I think you're doing such a great job. I can only give you the ability of growing, elevating. And I think to get his best out of him
Yes.
He's wasting his skill.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So not wasting, but his skills are being used in other locations and so where they can benefit you. So I'm all for it.
Okay, Chief, we will be needing a motion to add a billing collector supervisor and a pay class as a grade 68.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, got a motion. Chuck?
Second.
Second, John, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign, and there's also a second motion that goes with that.
I move that we
amendment.
approve the budget amendment to implement the position.
Okay, got a motion by Chuck,
I'll second that too.
second by John, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign. Okay, Miss Misty, you can put it up there and find you a person to fit that position.
And I think it also gives us a more emphasis on customer service.
Yeah.
It's that you have someone dedicated.
Great idea. Okay, I'll see you. Misty, we ain't gonna let you sit down over dear.
No, this one's multiple motions too.
Okay, if you would like to talk about this state revolving loan for the wastewater treatment plant project, we would appreciate it.
Okay. We received, letter from the state, that they were approving us, to receive an additional $4,877,100, from the SRF loan fund for the wastewater treatment plant project. This will bring the total funding amount for that loan to $29,423,000. This will have to go to the LGC for approval. So these are the things that we need to do at this meeting, to get us ready to go before the LGC board in January. So we would need to approve a resolution accepting the $4.8 million loan increase. We would amend the project budget because there is a 2% loan fee, and the loan fees are not eligible for reimbursement from the loans. That would need to come from the sewer fund. Jonas just told us that we had over $1 million gain in the sewer fund, so the funds are there in the sewer fund to cover this. And then we also need to amend the sewer fund to make the transfer of the 2% loan fee back to the project. It's complicated. So if you all approve the resolution to accept the funds, then we'll be able to go to the LGC board for their approval at their January 9th meeting. The couple of forms I have to get into them. They have to review our audit, make sure we're in good financial standing. I have to get that FDIC letter to them. But if we get all that to them in the next couple of weeks, we'll be good to go for the January 9th meeting. This loan increase will cover the full cost of the project.
Okay, she's asking for a resolution for accepting the $4,877,000 loan increase. I have a motion to that.
I'll make a motion. I have to, because it's for them to approve the resolution accepting the 4.877.1 loan increase.
Okay, second from Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like the same.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to the project budget.
Second.
A second from Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like the same.
And I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendment to the sewer fund for loan fees.
Second.
Second from Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like the same. Okay. Thank you, Misty.
Thank y'all. I forgot to add that it is 0% interest rate, which is great.
26-year amortization.
Wow. You have everything that you need signed. We got everything for you. Okay. All right.
How stupid are we?
Okay. Rob Heights, we got an endorsement of the town applying for sustainability grant.
This is a LEAP grant.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask, Councilmember Dixon to help me out if I stumble. We had a meeting of the Environmental Sustainability Board last week, and one of the members brought up an, opportunity for 100% grant. And the official name of the grant is Local Energy Action Program, or LEAP. It's a federal program that is part of the bipartisan infrastructure law, and it's through the Department of Energy. Waynesville has a low income target area that qualifies it among several other small target areas in the whole country for grants of up to $50,000, and they may be used for planning, for energy for winterization, and other programs. The, one caveat that we found in looking at the grant is it needs to be targeted at the needs of the target area, which is incidentally is the same, census, precinct as the CDBG, project that we just got funded for water and sewer. So that's the same area, the Sinclair Street and Railroad Street, y'all, Hendricks, that area. So, between 24 and 32 communities will be awarded these grants, nationwide. And the whole program's nationwide is 18.75 million. It is 100% grant, and what the committee would ask of the board is to endorse the program. And at their Thursday meeting, they'll meet with the staff, and they'll work on a particular category that they believe is most competitive and most helpful for this target area that's been qualified.
Chuck, you need to add anything to
Yeah,
that?
pretty good. There are 8 different, areas that we can find. And our members are working on trying to figure out which areas would work. The grant, the 50,000 is actually just a small part of the grant. The grant's actually for about $500,000 over a period of a couple of years. And it's for planning purposes.
Yeah.
It can be for all sorts of different things. Anyway, we'll be meeting this Thursday and hope to come up. Carm, who you're going to introduce, I guess, in a little bit, is working with us, our grant writer manager. Yeah. And so it seems like a really good opportunity, at least because of the census area that we have that makes us really much more eligible for this grant. I know I'm being a little kind of amorphous is not the right word, but we're still trying to figure out how to make it work. And there's some good folks on the Environmental Sustainability Board that are helping us. The other thing is we're required to partner with some sort of a community organization. We're working on trying to figure out who that might be. We would still be in control or would be administering the grant, but the community organization could be the environmental action community, it could be projects, it could be, we're trying to figure out the one that works the best and that meets the qualifications. But it's exciting. The whole group is really looking at this.
You like to make a motion for that?
Well, sure. I'll make the motion that we endorse the town of Pine for the sustainability grant under the Department of Energy Lead Program.
Okay, got a motion by Chuck.
Second.
Second by Anthony. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay, we get
And there's not much more of a report on the board other than we've had 2 meetings and had perfect attendance, and the folks are really excited about what
really good.
That's good. That's Jesse and Rob, and then our grant writer manager has been there for Kansas.
Yeah,
We're excited about it.
all right, we'll scoot into old business and endorsing the federal affirmative lead for Irving Fair Housing Plan. I'm trying to get out of my mouth. Hey,
Say that
Rob.
fast 3 times.
I have said it a lot since 1977. I won't go into my diatribe about CDBG, but my first grant was with the city of Durham, and they're requiring the same stuff now that they did back then, and they've added 4 or 5 programs. We are, replacing a water and sewer line, and in return for the federal largesse, we're going over the next few months to be adopting a number of federal programs as our own. I think that between me and the staff, we've attended over 20 hours of training for a $1 million grant that only involves putting in a water and a sewer line. So much for my introduction. The first plan that the board need to consider in order to receive this $1,097,000 CDBG grant is a the town's adopting resolutions for fair housing and a complaint procedure. The town, I don't know of any town in North Carolina that is more dedicated to affordable and fair housing than Waynesville. However, you don't have it in writing. So the federal government wants you to adopt a affirmatively furthering fair housing plan that ensures equal opportunity, fair housing for all persons to rent, purchase, obtain financing, and enjoy all other housing attributes. That's a quote. And to provide safe, decent, free of unlawful discrimination and accessible as required on a non-discriminatory basis. In addition, the town will take meaningful actions that, taken together, address significant disparities in housing needs and in housing opportunity, replacing segregated living patterns with truly integrated and balanced living patterns, transforming racially or ethnically concentrated areas of poverty into areas of opportunity, and fostering and maintaining compliance with the civil right of fair housing law. So one of the the thing they, in addition to your adopting the fair housing resolution, they'd ask you to adopt a resolution outlining a fair housing complaint procedure. That is where a person may inform the town manager of a housing complaint, that be rental or for sale, and the manager will forward the complaint to the Division of Water Infrastructure and the North Carolina Human Relations Commission. Together, the three of us will investigate the complaint and will work for a satisfactory solution. In Waynesville, the town's role in fair housing shall also be available in Spanish should the person wish to obtain a translation. And as you know, we're very, very fortunate to have a number of staff members that speak Spanish, several of which that were actually in the room here tonight. And we're fortunate. There are other towns of our size that have received this grant that must make this program available in Hmong. There's a mountain town that has a Hmong community. They must translate everything to Hmong as well as Spanish. And there are other towns that have other areas where they will have to have special language programs. So what the staff requested this time is that you consider the resolution affirmatively furthering the fair housing plan, and if that is adopted, consider a second motion to adopt the fair housing complaint procedure. Okay.
I have one question, Rob.
Yes, sir.
Under the policy, it states that, is this a canned complaint form where it says?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to make two minor changes to the policy. It says currently it is the policy of the town of Waynesville to implement the CDBG program to ensure equal opportunity and housing for all persons regardless of religion, race, color, national origin, sex, familiar status, or disability. I'd like to also add sexual orientation and gender identity to that. So I'd like to make a motion to approve. First, it would be to approve the federal affirmative furthering fair housing plan, and also to adopt the fair housing complaint procedure with the addition of sexual orientation and gender identity.
Second.
Go second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign. Good. Still got another motion for it.
They get them both at the
Yeah,
same
we
time.
combined it.
You combine it.
Did you only amend the resolution regarding the complaint procedure, or did you?
Yes, I don't think it's in the fair.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Oh, yeah, it is. Can I rephrase that and change it in the equal housing opportunity resolution and also in the fair housing complaint procedure? I'll have to make a motion to do that. Right.
Um,
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Just correct.
That's what you heard.
I'll search through the first one and find where
It's,
you're-
it's in the
It's just a
very
language
first
correct.
whereas the fair housing. Yes. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. We'll move on to communication from staff. Rob, do you have anything? Well, Jesse does.
No,
Jesse.
I think that was a holdover.
You don't have nothing? Your
No,
name,
sir.
please.
Manager probably that's a holdover.
I forgot to edit that.
But Rob was on, I think.
Good, boy.
The only thing I'll mention to you is that we are a click short of turning on our fast charger on Montgomery Street. The other chargers are working and are being used quite regularly. Other than the federal government, I think the people that run the software for the chargers are probably the most bureaucratic I've ever seen. So we have, every time we think we're finished, there's 3 more pages that we have to initial or sign. But I think, aren't we about two telephone calls and an initial away?
Depends on how long and how hard.
Okay.
Can we get some clarity on that? People do not get to charge for free. There is a fee to charge their car.
For the new one, there will be.
Correct.
So for the 7.6 kilowatt hour charger, those are.
But the fast charger. So the trickle chargers are free, which
That's
is
correct.
like the same as a hair dryer.
Yes.
But I want to clarify that because people might think that it's, and it will take hours to fully charge a car. But the fast chargers, individuals will be paying to charge their car.
32 cents.
32 cents
Okay,
for kilo.
That's
kilowatt
correct.
hour.
And you established that rate 4 or 5 months ago. I had an interesting call from a tourist who came from Billmore Park, and he recommended that if you find people that are going to use their charger for an 8-hour parking space, that you may have to set up a $1 per minute rate after the first 1 or 2 hours, because they found in your neighborhood.
Right, people leave their car there.
Yes, that they'll get their 180 miles of charge and then just leave it there and shop the rest of the day.
Right.
And take up the charger all day. So we thought we'd see what our experience is, but if we come back to you with that, the software will allow it and you'll understand that we're finding that people are somewhat using it.
Right. I get a notification on my phone when my car has reached full capacity, so you know to go and plug it and move your car.
Right. And so that might be an amendment we'll be making, possibly by March or April. We'll just see how it goes.
Thank you.
Everything else?
Rob, were you going to introduce Carmen?
Oh, yeah.
Well, she's hiding in the back. Carm, get up. Carm Miller is our new grandsman. She is fantastic. We are completely transformed as a senior staff with both Paige and Carm here. They've just done amazing things in very, very short time. I've enjoyed learning about the LEAP program for Carm. But like she's learning from Misty that the best thing to do is to sit in the back and hope you don't get asked. As she gets more acquainted with our process and feels more comfortable, she'll be having to stand where Misty stood and take it. I told you they're great people, Carl. They're just wonderful, so.
Yeah.
You know, next time you're on the line, you won't make me stumble through it.
Yeah. On behalf of the mayor and board, we welcome you to the town of Waynesville.
And she's another one from Macon County.
Another from
Yeah.
Macon County.
David Adams, Page, now Carl. We've
Okay.
stolen all of them from Macon County.
They're gonna send someone
They're
over
moving
here.
the trad over there.
Right over with the chief,
We're
because
gonna-
it snows.
We're gonna get a bus and just have a shuttle
Yeah. Okay, that's it for you.
right now.
Okay. Okay, before we move to communication from the mayor, I want to ask, you want to give any update about the parade or anything?
We are collecting applications, I'll have final count.
Okay,
They're on.
good, okay. You need any extra help from us or anything? Remember what I told
Y'all
you?
will show up and
Yeah.
be in the parade, that would be
Okay.
awesome. Beyond that,
Yeah.
it's great, we can drive over.
Yeah.
What about,
Yes, can't wait to see what Anthony wears.
what about
boy.
the, Christmas tree lighting?
That's December 1st, and we would love for all of you to be there again, and,
Yeah.
we'll do it very similar to last year.
Yeah.
Maybe try to maybe
I-
the program will kind of flow.
Yeah.
But we're in like, we go and buy tickets.
What
Yeah.
time? Do you have a time yet?
5 o'clock. Art after dark, and then starting at 5.
I will go ahead and tell you I will not be available on that day. I will be in Washington DC meeting with 600 other local municipality elected officials. Yes,
That's all right.
yes,
We'll give you a to-do list. like it
yes.
Do you want to give us a little update on the new winter festival that all the towns and the TDA are planning the Smoky? Y'all changed it from the Ice Festival to the Smoky something, and
Sure. Last year, Maggie Valley did the ice festival for the first time, and they were, doing about 2,000 people far in the back. Second. So the TDA, I believe, is recognized an opportunity this year, build that out a little bit and try to add activities throughout the entire weekend, spread them throughout the county to add more to that weekend overall. So Waynesville, part in that weekend is the ice sculpture trail on Friday night, the night prior to ice fest. And we're going to do a restaurant week that we have ice fest countywide at the version of we'll do a window decoration on windows display. And then Friday night we'll have all the merchants opportunity to buy a ice sculpture, custom design sculpture to go on the sidewalk in front of their business, and that will create strong engagement. So I hope that WC will do a sculpture at the town, they're making sculptures in the town.
Yeah.
Building. They did an annual thing, is the idea.
Yeah. Sounds good. While we're on the, I noticed that, I know the leaves are coming down really bad. So Rob, can you ask the guys to maybe start at least once a week blowing Main Street
Yes, sir.
before? It's terrible right now, isn't it, Beth? I mean,
we're finishing our first pass through the entire town
Yeah.
tomorrow, but they all fell in one weekend, and I blew them. But Mayor, I'll be happy to have that happen.
Yeah.
And we apologize from Public Works that all of these fell so fast. We hadn't planned it that way.
Yeah, but if they could do that and probably at least once a week, maybe clean the street or something there, because especially, with the season coming on with Christmas and stuff. There's gonna be a lot of people in town and stuff, and we want our town to look spick and span, correct? Yep. Okay, anything else, Beth? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, for communication from the mayor and council, I would like to congratulate y'all on your election. You know, I'm excited, you know, for 2024 for my folks here. I know this is maybe a little early to say that, but I really, you know, want to congratulate you all. You guys are some of the best folks that I've ever worked with in my 28 years. You know, you are the smart ones, you know. Especially whenever I say, what was it? Crypto?
Cryptocurrency.
Cremation currency.
You know, my little cremation little thing there, you know. But, you know, I love you guys and I appreciate you all so much, you know, for, you know, working with me as mayor of the town. I feel honored. I feel very, very honored to get you know, 4 years again to be the mayor. But it's a lot of work. I'll just be honest with you. You know, this past Saturday, I attended the 16th annual Veterans Luncheon at ROTC at Tuscola. I was actually the only municipality that showed up. So I felt really, really good, you know, and was honored, and they thanked, you know, for coming. But I'm not going to go any further. Who I was sitting beside, we won't go there. We won't go there. But it was fun, and we was probably about 100 to 125 people showed up for that, and it was really neat. And I enjoyed representing the town of Waynesville. So that's all I have to add to there. If anybody else wants to have any communication or complaint.
I have one thing. I think we placed a letter in front of everyone that I want to read into the record tonight, and then I will be mailing this to the individual and also hand delivering on Thursday. So bear with me as I read a long letter. It's to the Honorable Mark Pless, member of North Carolina House of Representatives, and it's to request aid for critical Waynesville community projects. Dear Representative Pless, on behalf of the Waynesville Town Council, I want to thank you for your offer to seek aid from the legislator for critical projects that impact the citizens of Waynesville and those in its service area. Waynesville provides full-time fire and fire response medical service for the town and 9 fire districts, including Lake Junaluska. It also provides water and sewer service for much of the urbanized county. The council has reviewed its capital needs over the next decade and has targeted those priorities as critical areas where we hope you can be of assistance. We will face at least a 5-cent ad valorem tax increase to fund the replacement of the obsolete Hazelwood Fire Station and the 32-year-old ladder truck. As you know, we have been forced to raise sewer rates over 55% to fund state revolving loans. Should you be able to help fund these needs, you would be instrumental in saving citizens of Waynesville and its service areas considerable long-term cost. Let me outline our requests in more detail below. Fire station in Hazelwood. The majority of the town's fire and first response medical calls are being dispatched from an outdated fire station located in the old Hazelwood Town Hall. Originally built as a volunteer station, the town's growth has rendered the station obsolete. The bays are too low to handle modern fire apparatuses, and the claustrophobic bunk rooms does not meet ADA standards. The Hazelwood Fire Station serves not only the western sector of the town of Waynesville, but also 9 other fire districts. It is truly a regional fire station. The town purchased 3.3 acres adjacent to Giles Chemicals for $400,000 in order to construct a new 13,000 square foot 3-bay station. We estimate the station will cost approximately $6 million. The town will need to raise property taxes approximately 4.2 cents per 100 in order to repay the loan necessary to fund the station. We will also have to request the county commissioners to increase the fire tax on the 9 service districts that are served by the Hazelwood Fire District. Given that the Hazelwood Fire District is our busiest station and serves 9 regional fire districts, the town council requests that you assist in the funding of a project by sponsoring a state legislator grant of $6 million to cover the cost of and design of construction. Replacement of the 1994 ladder truck and 1998 fire engine. NFPA guidelines recommended that a ladder truck be on the scene for every structure fire. The Waynesville Fire Department operates a single 1994 Sufton ladder truck, which has 85,006 miles and 8,583 hours of service. Due to its age and hours of use, the truck must be replaced in the near future. Fire Chief Webb estimates the replacement cost of the truck to be $2 million. In order for the town to purchase a replacement, we will be required to borrow funds. The annual payment on this fire truck will equal 1 cent on the town's tax rate. State mandated renovation of the town's waste treatment plant. The town provides wastewater treatment for its residents. The town of Clyde, Haywood Community College, Haywood Regional Hospital, Lake Junaluska, and the Junaluska Sanitary District. The State Department of Environmental and Natural Resources, DEQ, required the town, through a binding special order of consent, to completely renovate its aging treatment plant. Over 3 funding cycles, DEQ has approved a $29,423,000 state revolving fund loan to fund the plant's construction. This loan has required a 55% increase in sewer rates for the customers of our system. The town requested much of this loan be provided through grants. However, DEQ did not recognize Waynesville as an at-risk community. After further study, DEQ notified the town that it did, in fact, qualify and should have been considered under the Community Viability Program. Since the plant has been funded through loans, we no longer qualify for grant funding. We believe that the town was shortchanged in its effort to be awarded grant funding for the plant renovation. We were excited to hear in your recent comments that you would work to replace the state revolving loan with a legislative appropriation. The citizens of the town and those of its service area would be excited if you could make this come to pass. State mandated inflow infiltration reduction. DEQ mandated through their special order of consent that the town reduce the amount of ground and creek water that is entering its wastewater treatment plant through inflow infiltration. Compliance with DEQ's mandate for entering our sewer lines will be a tremendous and expensive program. We have conducted approximately 30 miles of testing and have identified several $1 million in replacement work. While DEQ mandated the town reduce its inflow infiltration, they failed to provide any funding sources for the town to leverage in order to achieve compliance with their regulation. We have explained to DEQ that their mandate wastewater treatment plant improvements have required the town to enact over 55% in sewer rate increases to fund the $24,423,000 in SRF loans. Mandating the town to reduce our inflow infiltration has no state participation will result in additional rate increases for our customers. As we stated above, DEQ did not provide funding for the plant improvements through the Community Viability Program. After being labeled at risk in August, we have applied for $6 million in funding to comply with DEQ's inflow infiltration mandate. We hope that you can use your influence to help the town fund this mandate. I know that you understand the financial strains facing many residents in our service area. And I know that you recognize the financial impact that replacement of Waynesville's obsolete fire buildings and equipments and its wastewater treatment system will have on its citizens. We hope that you will partner with Waynesville Town Council in helping reduce the burden of these projects will place on our residents. We have been impressed by your ability to leverage funds through your contacts in state legislator and look forward to working with you on the need of our constituents. I wish to thank you for considering our needs and helping Waynesville to receive aid in these areas. Do not hesitate to contact me should I be able to help you with these projects. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very well written.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this letter and formally request Representative Pless's assistance in funding these critical needs.
Okay, we got a motion. Second, Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hope so, that's some. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. You're welcome, sir. The only other thing I forgot to mention while I was at that ROTC event Saturday, Congressman Edwards also came, and I got to personally thank him for making sure about the plane, you know, the jet coming over for the memorial service for Mr. Captain Fred Hall. So I personally got to thank him for making that happen. So I forgot to let y'all know that. Okay. Other than that,
You have a short, closed session.
yep.
You need these back.
No, they're yours to keep.
They're heirs.
We-
They're heirs.
Like reading to them.
All right. I move that we go into closed session under NC General Statute 143.318.11A5I to discuss the potential acquisition of property.
Okay, got a motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. So ordered.
I'm gonna ask Elizabeth to stay.
Okay.
She is the primary. No.
Please. Is there potential for action on it?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Thank you for
Well,
your ideas. Making us move. Done a great job, Misty.
Huh? And also, the thing is, Anthony sent me back to do computer work. The problem was the whole letter was written for his signature, so they're all I's and not We's.
Yeah, I noticed that. So, yeah, you get that corrected.